Hey everybody, welcome back to the Wolf Pit with another episode of What Are We Eating? Today we're going over RAO'S made for home chicken Alfredo, which weighs in at 8.4 ounces and costs $5.99, and it's made with char-grilled white meat chicken strips and a creamy Alfredo sauce with pasta. Out of 61 reviews, the RAO'S chicken Alfredo got 3.4 stars out of 5. The most helpful positive review said it's pretty darn good for frozen. The most helpful negative review said it was terrible. Here's the list of ingredients, which is very short without a whole bunch of garbage in it. Although the chicken isn't whole cuts of muscle, it's not really a bad form meat slurry concoction, containing only white meat, water, cornstarch, and salt. The serving size is the whole meal, which has 470 calories, 25 grams of total fat, 13 grams of saturated fat, no trans fat, 110 milligrams of cholesterol, 770 milligrams of sodium, 34 grams of carbohydrates, 2 grams of fiber, 3 grams of sugars, and 29 grams of protein. Here's our RAO'S chicken Alfredo right out of the freezer and right out of the box. And now we're going to cook it according to the directions on the box. But me being the big spender I am, I bought 2 boxes for you, the people. One to try in the microwave and one to try in the oven. Here's our microwave version first. After cooking for 3 minutes on high, we mixed it up and then cooked it for another 3 minutes on 50% power. And then we let it rest for a couple minutes before digging in. As you could tell while we're mixing it, it was quite watery, not nearly as creamy as Alfredo sauce. So we went ahead and got a spoonful of the pasta, the chicken, and the Alfredo sauce. Normally, that would be our obligatory final bite of everything. But one thing remained the same. Into the old pie hole and down the gullet it went. And my pie hole and gullet were actually very pleasantly pleased. Although not nearly as thick and creamy as I would have liked it, the flavors and textures were there. The pasta was cooked absolutely perfect, and you could actually taste the char on the chicken, which also had a really good texture. And the somewhat soupy Alfredo sauce was also delicious. It had a nice rich buttery flavor, but the real flavor that stood out was the funky salty nuttiness of the Parmesan cheese, which I absolutely love. The chicken was good enough that I had to sneak another piece into my old pie hole and down my gullet. Here's our second RAO'S chicken Alfredo that cooked in a 375 degree oven for 35 minutes and then rested for 5. Even after cooking in the oven at 375 degrees for 35 minutes and resting for 5 minutes before we mixed it, the sauce still wasn't thick and creamy whatsoever. Which is disappointing, but I guess if you wanted to, you could add some Parmesan cheese to thicken it up a bit. But I thought for sure between the two that the oven version would be thicker, so we tried a piece of the charbroiled chicken first. It had great texture and flavor just like the microwave version. And then we went in for a spoonful of everything. The pasta, the Alfredo sauce, and the chicken. As you could see, the sauce is dripping off the spoon like water. But the flavor and texture of everything besides the sauce made up for it once it hit my pie hole and went down my gullet. There was absolutely no difference in the microwave version versus the oven version, which is normally typical on frozen dinners. I'm giving both versions of RAO'S chicken Alfredo a 7 out of 10, even with the watery sauce. Had the sauce been thick like it should have been, these would have gotten a 9 out of 10. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you soon.